Hey there, Graham Johnson here, and a really short audio for you today. Now, this audio is going to be completely unedited, completely live. I'm sitting in my car right now in the rain in the UK, about to take my child to hospital for kidney treatment and low immunity treatment. And just before I do that, I want to share this very powerful message straight from my heart to all of you beautiful souls out there who've supported, me and my journey and us as a collective to make this world a better place. I'm here only to make this world a better place. And I'm going to share with you a topic right now that is very, very powerful and very, very profound indeed. The topic I'm going to share with you is we've become co-dependent to narcissists on our journey. We are all spiritual beings, we're all unique expressions of the one infinite source, and yet we're all walking around in our lives prior to us waking up to who we are as a suppression of that unlimitedness of, almost like a drone with no uniqueness. A robot, it may seem, and the reason why this has happened is because the system, as part of our journey for our highest level of consciousness and our highest good, is designed to do that, to keep us in a state of self-poverty, self-deprivation, low vibrational frequency, low energy, and most importantly, to shape the reality that we believe so that it becomes our reality. Now, this happens because of narcissism. Narcissism is the very energy for our highest good delivered via the system on planet Earth, or Gaia. And narcissism is the energy that is running the entire globe. Now, that energy is outside of us, but because we were born into it, and because it was repeated and repeated and repeated, it become the reality, or our reality, and the reality of our caregivers, our mum, our dad, our friends, our family, the systems we we're born into, the school system, all of the systems that we know and use as part of our life. And therefore, it's only and completely understandable because we are all built from the same source. We're all an open sponge which absorbs what is repeated and therefore manifests what is repeated. So if we're born into a narcissistic energy, or we're subjected over a prolonged period of time to narcissistic energy, then as part of our journey, it is only evident that we ourselves will become or embody some of those narcissistic traits. Now, nobody truly is a narcissist. Nobody is that. That's a label. And it's formed from a judgment. Okay, so nobody is a narcissist. But people who struggle to shake off or to rise above or transcend or ascend the narcissistic qualities given to us for our highest good, they attempt to shape the world that we believe. They attempt to make you and I believe something that isn't actually true. They attempt to shape our views, to help us come to a particular outcome, to be controlled, basically. So if somebody out there that you see seems to be acting in a certain way, they may well be trying to shape an opinion. Now, the outside world does a very good job of this, and it's purely because of fear. Narcissism is, belief of a false sense of lack and belief that the individuals are not enough. And because those individuals are not enough, they must control, they must dominate, and they must shape the viewpoint or try to shape the opinion of other people. And this is what we see going on a collective level of 7.5 billion people on this planet, the suppression of their souls. And we also see it on a much more individual level when we look truly inside of ourselves, because every single one of us has or has had these traits. Every single one of us. We have all been held within the false version of who we are in terms of our ego, and that is by design. We have all been held in that construct or that box and became identified with it. So the world has done a great job for our highest good, of course, and we have become codependent to narcissists because we've lost our own power. We've lost our own power to act from a space of truth within ourselves. If it doesn't feel right, we should speak up and say so. If it doesn't, work for us, we should speak up and say so. With compassion, of course. Because not everybody is ready to step into their truth. Not everybody is ready right now to take the reins of their own life and be true to who they are. Not everybody is ready and will continue to believe things that other people place out there. Not everybody is ready to question things as yet, to question everything. There are individuals out there who still proclaim to not have these negative qualities, yet display them for everybody to see. And yet this toxicity is only unhealed pain, unhealed ego, unhealed narcissistic traits. Yet we must remember, all of us are subjected to traits of narcissism for our highest good. There is nothing wrong with that. When we reach a level of totality of understanding and embodying the knowledge that we are not our mind, when we live as that truth, we cannot be affected by the unfortunate pains of other people, of the actual world that we live in, of the system that governs or attempts to govern the lives of 7.5 billion beautiful souls like you and everyone on the planet. It's time we must step into our truth, because in doing so we dissolve the power, we dissolve and neutralise the narcissistic energy. We separate from our codependency to narcissists. We live and dance to our own tune. We sing our own song from our own song sheet. We become home. We become balanced. We become calm. We become neutral. Exactly as the Christ consciousness requires us to do for our highest good, and the highest good of all on this journey called life, and returning home to love. My goal is to simply be who I really am, and my goal, or my passion, if that's my passion being the right word, is that in divine time your goal will become the very same goal, to be free of this beautiful journey's gift that is the outside world and the energy that tries to govern this world, the energy of narcissism, the energy of pain, the energy of a false sense of lack, when none of it is true. Yes, it may feel true, but we must remember that everything is a projection of our mind. Everything that we feel, everything that we say, everything that we do, everything that we, or how we react, is all down to us. Nobody is to blame. And if there is blame being spouted out there, then that only comes from those who are trying to either shake individuals awake, or whether they hold on to their own pain and are trying to blame another being for that pain. blame is impossible on this journey, purely because if we're blaming, if we're operating in a state of self-sympathy, then yes, it may be real, yes, it may feel real, but we're not operating from our full and truest potential and truest power, because we're separate. If we're blaming, if we're doing these traits or behaviours to others, then we are not being true to our journey, to ourselves, or to the party we're blaming, because it doesn't exist. Now, all I care about on this journey is serving you, serving our fellow individuals, our fellow beautiful souls, our fellow friends. And that's you, and that's your family, and that's your friends, and that's their family, and that's their friends, and their children. Because all of this is about the future of our children. This is not about me, this is not about you. This is about the future of all of our children. We've got to put down the mentality of me, me, me. Poor me, look at me, feel sorry for me. I'm doing this for me. No, no, no. We've got to do this for the collective, for the greater good, for the future of our children. We've got to stand in our own power, because what kind of life are they going to have without us doing this? Their minds are malleable right now up until the age of 7, and they keep getting indoctrinated by the system of education, in inverted commas. They're powerless until their journey dictates otherwise. We may see a few awakened souls, and those awakened souls are targeted because they're the future leaders. This is why I have been targeted in the past. This is why my son has been targeted in the past. This is why all the future leaders, or leaders of history, people with influence, with voice, with passion, people like Martin Luther King, people like Tupac Shakur, people like those who speak from the heart. Leaders speak from the heart. Leaders lead. Leaders can say what is real and what is authentic. But leaders can only do that if they feel within themselves that they can do that. Leaders do not blame. Leaders do not, trample upon the freedoms and rights of another. Leaders do not shape or attempt to shape the perceptions of another. This is what a leader is, and we must step out of codependency, of narcissism, or, from the narcissistic point of view of the system, to step into our own power as individual leaders, because we are all leaders when we be true to ourselves. We must let go of the codependency. We must treat, one another in the correct way. We must allow other people to be who they are. We must not bully, blame. It hurts like hell when that happens. Believe me, we have all had traits of that. We've all had instances of that in our lives. Me included, you included. It hurts like hell, and it's a gift given to us to awaken. And this audio, I personally feel, is pouring from my heart, because that's what I feel. I feel so ready, so energized to give. It's about the future of our children. We're doing this for them and for their future, or they will have no future. They will have no freedom. The narcissism on this planet is looking to seek a total and utter draconian lockdown of every freedom that you were given when you were born. And that is the same for our children. Do you want that for your children? Do you want your child in the future to say to you, well, mummy, daddy, grandma, granddad, what were you doing when they took my freedoms away? Do you really want to be that person sitting and looking into your child or grandchild's eyes and say, well, darling, well, son, well, daughter, well, grandson, well, granddaughter, I had the information, but I did nothing. I had the information, but I did nothing. When all we have to do is have the courage and the faith to be true to ourselves. If something doesn't work for us, say so. Act upon it. The reason that we fail to do this is because of the programming we have been indoctrinated to take on, and the very clever programming of the system of narcissism that shapes the perceptions of another. If the system can get everybody to do the same thing, aka become, ununique versions of robots or drones, or, with no soul identity or with no, uniqueness, if everyone was the same, then nobody would speak out because nobody would know how. This is why we see that all the atrocities going on all over the world. And people in the spiritual community may say, but that's only in your mind. Yes, maybe it is, but it's still being pushed through mainstream media. It's still being, shown all over the world. And people say, well, if you don't watch the TV, it doesn't happen. Well, of course it's still happening. Of course it's still happening. There is an agenda being played out. There is a narcissistic power agenda being played out. And the longer it goes on, the more people are subjected to narcissistic traits, tendencies, and become codependent and narcissists. It's as simple as that. But those people who are those narcissists or display those narcissistic traits are the ones in the greatest need of all. Because those people who believe they have the power, who believe they're in the echelons of society, who believe that they have all the control because they own the world, or in their warped, delusional way, believe that they are better than anybody else, is that they are in the greatest need and the greatest pain of all. Because they believe they lack, which is why they need to control and dominate. And I'm talking about how that energy can subside and seep through to every one of us. It seeped through to me. I take responsibility 100% for that, because it's part of my journey. There is nothing to blame or no one to blame, or I shall not be the victim of another's blame either. And it's the same for you. Every single one of us is in this together, because we are all one. We are all the same. We are all here to change the world, to neutralize narcissistic energy, to neutralize the damage that it creates, the pain that it creates. So this is how we, on an individual level, can take control. We must understand that we can choose whether to take ourselves out of a narcissistic situation, to come home to our truth, to listen to our own intuition, to make choices from our imagination as opposed to our rigid subconscious belief systems that the narcissistic energy and the narcissistic system has placed in our subconscious minds for us. But we must remember that it's all for our highest good. There is no blame. You may see a lot of others try and do that, like we're seeing or have seen in the past with all the wars, particularly in Afghanistan, particularly in Libya, in Syria, the overthrow of Gaddafi. All of these things come and stem from the same source. The energy of narcissism, the energy of dominance, the energy of control, the energy of bullying that is destroying our planet. And we must remember, always remember, that as the world awakens, as the energy and the vibration rises, we must always have that memory within us, because we have a choice. We can go on being codependent and narcissists. We can go on just following orders. We can go on being subconsciously manipulated. You can go on believing the lies of others. There's only one truth for you to listen to, and that is the truth that is within you. The truth that is within your soul, the truth that feels itself within you, the truth that you can actually feel if you listen to it. That is the action that you must take from that space, if you choose to do so for your highest good. I'm here to tell you nothing other than to try and help you see that we're all in this together. We all have the power for the future generations of our children and grandchildren to say no to the energy of narcissism and put down our codependency and reclaim our own individual sovereignty, love and power for the future generations of our children and their lives. Don't do it for me, don't do it for you. Do it for both you and the future of your children. Be true to you. I've been Graham. Thank you very much for listening.